All right, so I wanted to talk about pause culture. My wife said we immature. Certain men feel like you shouldn't or can't eat foods that are shaped a very specific kind of way, if you know what I'm saying, right? They're shaped like male parts, or have the jeez, I don't even know how to. I feel like I need to pause that. There's this fear of perception, right? Men have this anxiety of how they look just doing normal things. I look back at it now and I used to be like, bro, how, like, why my clothes used to be so bad? Like,
they could have fit me.
Okay, you running out now. You gotta stop. You have to stop. The practical takeaway is, just be comfortable enjoying life without disclaimers. All right, welcome to the new episode of the Myles High Podcast. This is Myles Jr. I'm your host, and as always, the vision and goal of this podcast is to entertain, educate, and elevate you miles high above your fears, your doubts, and any limitations that you may think exist, always knowing that those limitations only exist in your mind. All right. So for starters, I wanted to push our brand again, our merch brand, legacybrandshop.com. You can find all the merch on the website. A lot of people have been asking where they can get our merch from. So the merch is available there. We'll be restocking a lot of the merch. I know a lot of it has sold out, but we're in the process of getting those restocked and also getting some new designs in stock. So I'm excited about that. Looking forward to you guys enjoying that, getting your feedback on those type of things. All right, so legacybrandshop.com, log on to the website, check out the merch, and you can get you some merch for yourself and friends and family and et cetera, et cetera. All right. Oh yeah, it's also available at our in Nassau, Bahamas, at our Oasis bookstore at the Diplomat Center on Jamaica Road. So if you're here locally in the Bahamas, you can pick up some merch there at the bookstore. All right. Also wanted to plug our Munroe Institute of Leadership. Our courses go on stream in the next couple of weeks. We have our Discover Purpose course and our Crafting Your Personal Vision course that will be coming up on stream. Those are our full-length courses. Then we have some mini courses and micro learning courses that will be going on stream as well. All of those start later this month. Just encouraging you, if you want to continue developing yourself, working on yourself, continue learning. I wanted to encourage you to register for one of our courses. I think, any learning that we can do, any advancement of our personal mind is always good, right? So just encouraging you to Go and check out the information on the courses. Our website is themill, THEMIL.org, O-R-G, themill.org. You can find out all the details on the dates of the start of the courses, the cost, the process to register, and all of that. And then if you have any questions, please feel free to use that website to contact our team, and they can get those questions answered for you. All right. Okay, so today I wanted to have sort of a light conversation. This is, my wife doesn't like this conversation, but, just from a male's perspective, I thought it would be both a good conversation and a fun conversation to have. All right, so I wanted to talk about pause culture. I want to talk about pause culture. My wife said we immature, and I would tend to agree. Right? I think as an '80s baby, growing up through the '80s and '90s, I think all of us have been trained in pause culture. I was having a conversation in one of my friend groups, and it's a constant thing, right? This pause culture is a constant thing. But I wanted to I guess, when did pause culture reach the point where even what a man eats can threaten his masculinity? And that's kind of what I wanted to focus on. But let's start with what is pause culture, right? So pause culture is sort of a slang phrase that's said after something suspect is said or done, right? It's evolved from words to behavior, and now it's evolved into food. And I want to focus on the food angle for this conversation. I mean, yeah, everything, right? Words, behavior, but food is just
Actions.
that's behavior. Like, so, but the food angle is the one that I don't want to say upset, because it really doesn't upset me, right? But it's the one that I push back on the most, because if eating a fruit or a snack becomes suspicious or makes you a suspect, like something is wrong, right? And it's usually so, going back to what is pause culture. So again, I said it's a slang or phrase after saying something sus, right? So, if a group of guys are in a conversation and someone says something that can question their masculinity, like, and it can be absolutely anything. We usually follow up with saying pause, right? So if you say, like, if you want to comment your male friend, be like, bro, your outfit is fire, or you dress well today. Like, naturally you would be like, bro, you look good, pause, right? Or something along those lines. And it's to say, yo, I'm saying this, but I am an heterosexual male, and I want to make it known that I'm a heterosexual male. Like, it's truly like Cherie said. Yes, that's the part of the conversation that we're gonna talk through today, right? Because I think if you entertain those types of antics, right? Then I would say you're questioning your masculinity or your sexuality even, right? Because if you're secure in yourself, you know who you are, like how you present yourself, what you represent, then there shouldn't be a need for you to personally question yourself. Now, when I do it, like I've been doing it, and I've obviously, grew up in the era where it was prevalent. It tends to be like in fun, like in jest, right? We have fun with it as friends. We have fun with it as a society. But like I say, when it comes to like food, that's where I find like it's crazy to think. So like in my friends group, like we we talk about this all the time, and in society, in our culture, there's this disdain towards eating fruits like bananas and cucumbers and then hot dogs, eggplants, and like all of
Ice cream.
ice cream cones, popsicles, you know, and all of these are foods that are shaped a very specific kind of way, if you know what I'm saying, right? They're shaped like male parts, or have the 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 geez, I don't even know how
Pause.
to. I feel like I need to pause that. But that's kind of where the food aspect of it comes from, right? And man, I have this conversation in my male group, one of my friends group, with who is a bunch of males, and like I stand on the fact that, bro, it's food. Like we can't demonize food, right? We can't make food. We can't sexualize food. Like how did we get to this point where that's what we're doing? So like, there's this thing with they refer to hot dogs as glizzies, right? And you just glizzy, and you use a glizzy gobbler, and like different terms like that, right? And for me, it's like, bro, if I like I'm one, I enjoy a hot dog sandwich, right? And certain men feel like you shouldn't or can't eat hot dog sandwiches in public, right? They say you have to eat it by yourself in the privacy of your home, or like if you eating it, you have to like cut it up into smaller portions instead of like shoving hot dog sandwich in your mouth to eat. Same thing with bananas, right? When you're eating bananas, the society says you have to break the banana off and put it in your mouth. You can't
What
put
society, men?
men. I mean, men are part of society,
No, y'all got your own
so you have to
secret door.
you have to break the banana off and put it in your mouth, as opposed to like eating the banana just whole. And for me, it's like so we have these conversations, and it just like no one knows why it is the way it is. It's just the way it is. Like that's what we men say all the time. Like, bro, that's just what it is. Like this man law. Like you're not.
No, it's not.
It's societal law for men.
No.
So what is
Because
it?
I'm sure every man does not operate.
No,
on
I'm
that
saying
level.
no. I'm saying though, like in a certain segment of the population, I guess it's mainly black culture in a sense,
I wouldn't even say it's black culture because I feel like every nationality
have their own
version
right.
of pause.
Mm-hmm.
It might not be that, but it might be like, yo, that was a little wild.
Yeah. So the crew is saying that every society or every ethnicity probably has their version of like what pause is to them, and that I can only speak from like black culture, like what it is for us, and it is a sense of, I feel, immaturity, but it's I get the fun in it, right? I get the jest in it, like
It's fun, but then when it becomes disrespectful is the next thing. Because if you're around certain people who live a certain lifestyle, that's just disrespectful.
yeah, I guess I think even persons who live alternative lifestyle understand that aspect of our society. So I don't think it's fully offensive.
But should they have to understand? Because I mean, there are things that we do that they don't pause us. I mean,
Yeah.
when you think about it.
Yeah, fair
And
enough.
if you are secure in who you are, what you pausing?
Yeah.
I mean, there are times when even me and you pause things at home because it's fun, but not. I wouldn't do that in public, like intentionally.
So
and
I-
then my thing is, you're gonna be 60 talking about pause.
Pause.
Like your teeth about to drop out.
So
Like
it's
be
funny,
for
right?
real.
So like to, I guess, this particular group. So Cameron, the rapper Cameron and Mace, they have a podcast, and they literally spend that entire podcast trying to catch either each other or their guest in a big pause situation, right? So you would have like they would be having a conversation, and then someone would be like, "Hey, yo, like you stepping over the line, like you doing too much right now, like that's a pause or whatever." So it's been ingrained in our culture, in black culture, in the black society. And again, I'm not saying like it's a horrible thing, right? Because I understand the fun behind it. I understand like it's not really that serious, but like when it starts to affect when the natural act of eating is being monitored through a distorted lens of proving your heterosexuality, like that's a problem, right? When you feel like you can't do something because you're going to be deemed a certain way, like it's going to question your masculinity, like that just doesn't make sense to me. How does eating a banana, how does eating eating a hot dog sandwich? So in our friends group, one of my boys has a kid. I think he's about 14 or 15 now, and in their generation, eating soft serve ice cream is considered a pause event. So you can't go to TCBY and be like, I want a soft serve ice cream, and just so to us,
What do they eat?
that's crazy, right? Like, I mean, so on a cone, right? Obviously, like, yeah, because they like.
No, that's where you gonna get it.
So like when you eat the cone, you gotta like. There's something like every time we have this ice cream cone conversation, like they always say you have to tilt your head.
That's the truth. You get it dripping
You
now.
have to tilt your head to lick it. It's like, bro, why you out in public tilting your head to lick anything, right?
So the ice cream don't drop on your hands.
It's like, I just like, if you like ice cream, if you like eating ice cream off a cone, like you should feel comfortable enough and be free enough to do so. And like my whole thing is like, bro, just do what you love, right? And be comfortable in yourself, in your identity, in your masculinity, to ignore what society says or what society pokes fun at, and just do it. Because if you're sure of yourself, sure in yourself, like what others say shouldn't matter, right? So for me, like in our friends group, I'm like, bro, nothing is. Whether the comments, I'm not saying whether hot dogs are a healthy choice of food to eat, right? Because I think we've all learned how the the more cheaper versions of hot dogs are made, right? They're made from like the scrap meats, and it's kind of blended together and made into a hot dog. But then you also have hot dogs that are like 100% beef, 100% pork, like a more premium version of a hot dog, right? So I'm not referring to whether it's healthy or not, but I'm saying whatever you choose to eat, if you want to eat a hot dog, you should feel comfortable enough and free enough to eat a hot dog sandwich. If you want to eat a banana, and you shouldn't have to be scared to like pinch it off or biting the banana, right? And I know, like, a couple of my boys probably will watch this and be like, yo, you tripping. But I understand the cultural aspect to it. But like we 40 plus at this point. Like we can't be worrying about those type of stuff like for the rest of our lives. Like there has to come a point like where we just mature and be like, yo, if I want to eat a hot dog sandwich, if I want to eat an ice cream cone, like I'm going to feel free to do that. And I mean, for me, it's crazy that TCBY soft serve ice cream is considered questionable now for men to eat, right? And it's just like, so, I'm sure our culture would look at that as strange, but I'm sure our generation, would look at that as strange. But I'm sure the generation before us would probably look at, what certain things that we do or certain things that we believe in our generation as strange as well, right? I think the deeper issue falls with, there's this fear of perception, right? Men have this anxiety of how they look just doing normal things, right? There's a loss of freedom because if your diet is controlled by culture and what culture says you could or can't eat, then like something is wrong. Something is like just genuinely wrong there. And then it's the identity crisis, right? I think our strength, when your strength gets tied to avoiding ridicule rather than standing in who you are, that something needs to change, right? There's no way that me eating a hot dog sandwich or eating an ice cream cone or eating a banana should identify me, right? Or say who I am or what it is that I believe in. If it shouldn't question my masculinity or anything. No food we eat should question that, right? Even like the actions that we do, the way that we dress. Like I remember, in my early 20s, in my 20s, early to late 20s, that was the era where men wore more fitted clothes, right? And even that was considered a questionable masculine thing, right? If your clothes were too tight, folks questioned it, but it became so normalized that like people started to just let it go, and it's just a part of fashion, a trend of fashion at this point.
Was really tight. It was too tight.
I mean, I wouldn't, I look back at it now. I look back at it now, and I used to be like, bro, why my clothes used to be so tight? My pants
they could have
in
fit
particular.
me.
Okay, you running out now. You gotta stop. You have to stop it. My wife said my pants could have fit her. You gotta stop it. But I just think that we go through these phases in society where we allow society to dictate what it is that we can or can't do or should not do. And I've always been one of those persons where I don't like to allow or try not to allow society to dictate who I am and how I present myself, right? I try to stand firm in like my personal beliefs, my personal identity, and how I see myself and how I want to present myself. And that's always been a thing for me. So, I tell we do it in fun, but in my friends group, I'd be like, yo, I'm going to enjoy me a hot dog sandwich if I want. I don't like ice cream, but if I wanted to eat an ice cream on a cone, I'm gonna do that. I don't think any of that should be tied to questioning our masculinity, right? Or even determining our heterosexuality, heterosexuality or sexuality. Jesus. But yes, and I think again, if we're allowing these things to identify us, that's an entirely different aspect of like what we're putting ourselves through, because it's truly unnecessary, especially at the age that we are at now. Like, folks in my age set, like we're over 40. Yes, it's cool to do it in jest, because I still find myself like, going the pause route and saying pause here and there or whatnot. But it's in fun, right? It's genuinely just having fun with it. But for me, when it comes to like determining whether I can or can't eat a certain type of food, like that is crazy to me. Like I just don't understand how we've allowed it to get that far, right? Like men feel ashamed to, if they want to have a hot dog, they can't eat a hot dog in public, or if they eat in public, they gotta go to the side and hide the fact that they're biting into the hot dog or whatnot. And it's just these things that we have formulated as a society to saying what we as men can and can't do. I think it's crazy to me. So, the practical takeaway is, just be comfortable enjoying life without disclaimers, right? Without having to worry about what you say and how you say it. From a pause culture perspective, I think is what the goal should be. Not having to worry about what you want to eat and how you eat. I think it's just a personal choice, and I don't think you should feel judged or questioned by society just because it's what you choose to do. I remember growing up, for us, when men sat with their legs crossed, right? That like society taught us that you have to question that. Like that's something you question because only women sit like that. But now, like we sit like that all the time. I see all men, if not, sitting with their legs crossed all the time, and it's just, I guess it's just a sense of maturing, right? And getting to a point in life where, you know who you are, how you want to present yourself and what you represent. And it doesn't matter what society says, right? You're comfortable in your personal identity. And I think that's the point where we need to get to. So a lot of times, like even myself, like I do deem it as being a bit immature, like even when we engage with pause culture. But again, I'm saying, it's just in fun, right? At least for me, when I do it, I'll speak personally. But be comfortable enjoying life without the disclaimers, right? Your masculinity is not defined by society, but by your God-given identity, right? We define who we are, how we present ourselves, and what we represent. And I don't think we should we should not allow society to define that for us, all right? So I'm encouraging men specifically out there, like, yes, pause culture is cool, pause culture is fun. I think, especially for my generation, it's something that we had fun with growing up. And we still have fun with today. But, there has to come a point where we stop allowing it to dictate the things that we love and the things that we want to do, right? If you want to, like, my wife, I got a friend that coaches in the major leagues, and, we go to quite a number of baseball games. And you honestly can't go to a baseball game if you ain't have a hot dog sandwich, right? And it doesn't even cross my mind that I got to look around before eating this hot dog sandwich. Now, after eating hot dog sandwich, I may think, boy, I probably look crazy enjoying this hot dog sandwich. But nonetheless, it doesn't stop me, right? Because, I just know who I am. I'm confident in who I am as an individual. I'm confident in my masculinity. And I know, who I represent and what I represent. So I don't allow that to affect my decisions, specifically with the food that I eat. And I just want to encourage men to like have fun with it, but let's just be mature in the same way. I don't think it's something that we need to cause us to not enjoy certain things in life. Now, if we're talking from like health benefits and what's good to eat from what's not good to eat based off of our health, I think that's an entirely different story. Because the goal should always be to be healthy, right? But I'm stating not to allow society to dictate how we enjoy our food. All right. So yeah, brings us to the milestone for this podcast. Milestone today is, obviously in relation to what the topic was. If humor is controlling how you live, is it really freedom, or is it just another form of bondage? It's a question I want to pose for you. Are you really free if you're allowing humor, right, or society to control how you live your life? True freedom is knowing who you are, right, knowing your identity, and living that out, living that proudly. And I think when we can get to that point, nothing can affect us. And that should be the goal. It should be the goal for us to just be comfortable and be free in who we are and how we live. All right, so that's my encouragement for you today. Ask yourself that question. Hopefully you're able to answer that question for yourself. If not now, sometime soon. All right. So that brings us to the end of this pod. It's a fun one. I wanted to keep it light. Just wanted to just shed some light on things that, I have a lot of conversations about in my friends group. And, I just felt that it would have been a good topic to bring to the pod. So hopefully that was entertaining for you, my listeners. All right. As always, the vision and goal of this podcast is to entertain, educate, and elevate you miles high above your fears, your doubts, and any limitations that you may think exist. Always knowing that those limitations only exist in your mind. All right. So until next time, you guys stay blessed.